This dude in 2018 had a compound fracture. He had 17 surgeries, not to make it back to the league, but to save his leg. He takes over week 10 as the starting quarterback. Week 13, he beats the only undefeated team in the National Football League. Alex Smith, great job, buddy, to be applauded.
Yep.
Applauded, excuse me, Alex Smith.
All right, take of the year coming up. Cole Beasley, 9 catches, 130 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 nap. Okay, here's the take. Babies, universally loved. Everybody loves a baby, except no one wants to be a baby. If you talk to an 18-month-old, you say, oh, what a cute baby. The 18th-month-old will be like, I'm not a baby. No one wants to act like a baby. Babies don't even want to be babies. But the tides have turned. Babies are having a real moment. Remember Russell Westbrook would be like, oh, I treated you like a baby. Cole Beasley's like, yeah. Guess what? Babies are cool now. Why do you know? Oh, where's James Harden at? Oh, he's at Lil Baby's birthday party. He went an extra step. He's like, no, I'm actually a small baby. I'm not just a baby. Who else has got another #1 hit? Oh, duh, baby? Babies. It's a great take. Babies are back.
Not a great,
I know you guys want to write off babies and back.
Wilds, that was great. I thought that on a normal day, that would be the thing that made me the absolute happiest. But something special happened last night. As America knows, we are 24 hours and 12 minutes away from the release of the latest Nick Wright committee tiers and the power rankings associated with it. We showed you some tweets yesterday of people eagerly anticipating the tiers release. It has now gotten to the players on the field. Listen to Chase Young when he's asked, and I'm going to read the exact quote. The question he was asked, Chase, what do you think the committee was seeing when they watched you guys beat the Steelers? Here's Chase's answer.
We're gonna see where they say we at. We're gonna see if they say that we was a good defense or the Steelers just ain't play well. So we're gonna see.
You are going to see, Chase, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., the tiers come out, and we will see what the committee has to say about that performance.
Contenders?
All right, let's stick with this game. The Steelers have easily become the hottest team in the league, and rightfully so. Undefeated, unstoppable, understandably overconfident. I know it, they know it. They didn't need to make sure that I knew it. I just told you I knew it. So last month, Chase Claypool, the hottest young receiver, comes out and he says this, which I thought was very interesting. Losing? Never heard of her. Really? Chase, really? You never heard of her? Okay, well, let me tell you. Because she looks and she sounds and she hits and she tackles and she sprints and she plays just like the Washington football team. What's the moral of the story? Don't count your unhatched chicken because she may not appreciate it, Chase. Now you guys have a loss on the season. Boom. Let's move on. Applaud, and we're going to keep going. It was supposed to be funny. It wasn't supposed to be too serious. To the late game now. There was another game last night. It was called Bills-Niners. It starred Josh Allen, 375 yards, 4 touchdowns, but most importantly, the Bills get the win on Monday Night Football for the first time since my childhood crush, Doug Flutie, was under center there in Buffalo. Yes. Bills are now 9-3 with a 1-game lead over the Dolphins in the AFC East, and somewhere out there, Tom Brady's probably smirking just a little bit. Nick, Josh Allen, the 9-3 Bills, are they overrated?
Hold on. I apologize. I'm just thrown asunder by finding out the newest entry on Jenna's childhood crush list. Michael J. Fox, Danny Ainge, Doug Flutie.
Yes.
It's a growing list of mediocre-looking, undersized white guys. It's just the worst. It's just the worst list of people from the 80s anyone has ever compiled. I'm not supposed to shame anyone's preferences. I'm shaming this one a little bit. It's 30 years ago.
Let's get a new tier.
All right, now, to the answer, tiers of, to the answer. No, I think, it depends on how you're rating the Bills. I mean, I think they're properly rated. They're good. They're a good football team. And if they had a quarterback I trusted, I think they'd be a very good football team. And I understand today we're going to get right back to where we were in September, the insane discussion of Josh Allen. Is he great? No, he's not. You know how I know? Because I watched football in October and November. Now, if you only watched football in September and last night, you think he's spectacular. Unfortunately for him, there were 2 months in between there where he had 10 touchdowns and 9 turnovers. And the team was 4-3 and had 90 passer rating. Now, when he's on, he looks great. And he looked great last night. And I give him credit for that. But I don't trust the Bills in the playoffs because I don't trust their quarterback, and they have a good defense, but it's not like they have an overwhelmingly dominant defense that can make up for what I think is going to be hit and miss quarterback play. So I mean, that's how I'm rating them, Brandon. So I don't think they're underrated. I don't know where you stand on it. I think they're properly rated. They're fine.
They're underrated. And first, before I even dive into my take, Nick, why do you talk? Why is this a different discussion from the Cleveland Browns and Baker Mayfield? Why aren't we having the same discussion? You stand on the table for Cleveland and Baker, but then, oh my goodness! All right,
Cleveland's got a better running game. They've got a better defense, and Baker's better than Josh Allen. That's why.
Oh, my goodness. So you're take Baker. Okay, got it. Noted.
Yeah,
look,
definitely.
They're underrated. And, Nick, this is terrible. I'm going to learn my lesson. You moved me off my take. At the beginning of the season, I talked about the Seattle Seahawks. I talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Colts. I talked about the Titans. I even talked about the Buffalo Bills. I was one of those guys early on that train talking about Josh Allen's having a lights out year. He could potentially be MVP. And then he had that phase where he played terrible. Right?
Just 2 months.
So look, there's two people that stand out to me in that organization. The offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll, and the defensive coordinator, Leslie Frazier. October 19th, they play against your boys, the Kansas City Chiefs, but this is during the time where we thought this team was good, and then Josh Allen pretty much imploded. It was almost like he was dealing with an injury. He couldn't complete a 5-yard hitch. He couldn't complete a 5-yard slant. At 10:40 that night, I text my old OC, my pal, Brian Daboll, and I just say, damn. And his response right away was onward. And since that moment, they've lost one game to a Hail Mary to Kyler Murray. This team is sitting here, and they could easily be 10-2 outside of that Hail Mary. Brian Daboll has done a phenomenal job galvanizing his offense and making them stay together during that tough time, and now they find themselves in an amazing position. Leslie Frazier, a lot of talk about the offense, but you got to talk about Leslie Frazier. The first 6 weeks of this season, they were terrible. Any quarterback coming in, they had an amazing passer rating. They were one of the worst in giving up a bunch of yardage and touchdowns to quarterbacks.
Yep.
Since then, they went to the opposite end of the spectrum. Leslie Frazier has taken a bad defense and made them great within the last 6 weeks. And these two guys need to be highlighted, and they are the reason why this team is sitting here in this position.
Brandon, you are a Hall of Fame wide receiver, in my opinion. You're also might be the world's most efficient texter. Every texting story you got, it's just like, damn, onward. It's just like, bang. It's just, you don't even need the full keyboard. You could just go with like old school T9, which might be the issue. It's just, damn, it's like, oh, it took me 10 seconds to write. Okay. Interesting little side note, side storyline as we see sort of like, oh, the ringing of cash machines. Maybe it's the flutter of the Bills. Josh Allen coming up for his extension, Nick, and you mentioned that Carson Wentz may have poisoned the waters here because Carson Wentz got the big extension. Look at this. 27 days away, so that was last night. So now we're at 26 days away. So Spot Track, it's not Sport Track, Wild. Stop saying Sport Track.
Oh my God!
I know.
That can't be.
Oh my gosh! What?
That's a big number.
What do you mean? What?
So do you make this deal? That's what the Bills are going to be looking at, Brandon. That's a scary number. That's a big number.
No, it's not a scary number.
What Carson Wentz is doing. Whoop! It's a big number for your old buddy KW. Go ahead, Nick.
It's not as scary. It's not a scary number. No, Nick, you keep talking about the Cleveland Browns, and we need to give them a trophy for becoming, you know, a playoff team. So now you got the Buffalo Bills. So what do you say with this? It's the same situation. Josh Allen is balling. This team is playing lights out. So now you're saying, oh my gosh, we shouldn't pay this guy?
Yeah. If you want to pay Josh Allen $40 million a year and $120 million guaranteed, have fun with it. Good luck to you. Hey, remember that long playoff drought the Bills had that was snapped a few years ago by Tyrod Taylor? You can start a fresh one, start a brand new streak. You cannot pay that guy more than Deshaun Watson. That is bananas. Nobody would think that, or the same as Deshaun Watson. Nobody would think that's a good idea. And you keep bringing up the Browns. I wouldn't give Baker that contract either, for the record. And I really feel like, Jenna, the football gods are aligning. Because if the Bills can stay on this track and be the 3 seed, if the Browns drop another game, right now they're the 5, but they easily could fall to the 6 seed. And we could see Baker versus the Bills, Josh Allen versus the Browns in the first round of the playoffs.
Winner gets an extension.
I think is probably at this point the most winner gets an extension. They can do a Money in the Bank thing, like WWE, have the extension hanging above midfield, go up and get it.
You know who I want to see?
I'm excited for it.
You know who I want to see? I want to see Bills Chiefs. That's what I want to see. Bills Chiefs.
We already saw that.
Let's see that
it wasn't
game,
that competitive. Right? We saw that already. We saw
I want to see it again.
Chiefs want to see it.
Brandon thinks Josh Allen's worked his way back up to elite quarterback status last night. Lamar Jackson would love to do the same tonight. Ravens, Cowboys preparing for a rare Tuesday night football game. That's next. First things first, guys.